No matter the likelihood of a chemical disaster in the region, emergency personnel want to be as ready as possible.
Lexington's Division of Emergency Management held their annual chemical disaster training today, working to be ready to respond to a disaster. Mariah Congito shows us that training.
As you can see behind me, there's various stations set up and they're going through drills. Some of those drills include decontamination, triage, medical treatment, and transport.
You have a lot of firefighters on scene today. They're from different platoons and different parts of the city, and we all work together to make this run smoothly.
Fayette County is one of 10 counties that participates in the Chemical Stockpile Emergency Preparedness Program.
This is more for the chemical stockpile enrichment, and even though they are winding down operations, we still want to have this preparedness for rail accidents, possible terrorist activities, or chemical spills at some of our manufacturing facilities in Lexington.
The Lexington Fire Department's Battalion Chief Shane Pointer says the exercise starts off with a washdown.
We have mass decon, which we'll do with the ladder truck you see flowing water, and that's an immediate wet down of the patient to get any gross contaminants on the patients off.
Pointer says the next step is for them to determine what type of treatment the patient needs and whether or not they need to be taken to the hospital.
Really helps us with our working within the incident command system.
A PET decontamination station was set up as well. Pointer says luckily it's rare for them to have to use these set of skills.
And we've had some small incidents on UK's campus with where we've needed decon and medical treatment, but nothing with the size and scope of this that we'd be treating this many patients.
Battalion Chief Pointer says they'll continue to do these every year because they're always looking to refine their skills. In Lexington, Mariah Congito, WKYT.